that are real instructors that actually have real industry experience. That's the thing that I really like working with the folks here, is that they just, they can talk the talk, but they can also walk the walk. They understand what it's like to be, a cybersecurity engineer. And in the trenches, I spent many years at the DoD and DOJ, as I said, and the FBI. And so there's no better real world training than that. Yes, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Peter Brabson. I have been teaching with the IT Network Security Specialist support cohort for CDS for roughly 3 years. I've overall been teaching about 20 plus years. As far as my background, I worked as a cybersecurity consultant and a Microsoft subject matter expert for 20 years, 13 of which were, I worked in several federal agencies when I was living in DC, and with the DoD, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the Department of State. My take on IT security, and I've been working with it for many years, is it's a set of strategies and preventive and also proactive ways to prevent unauthorized access to computers, networks, data, and certainly source code if you're a software developer. It is both defensive and offensive. So that covers the sort of the paradigm of the blue team, which is defensive, and the red team, which is offensive. And the whole purpose of it is to monitor digital assets and maintain integrity and confidentiality of sensitive information, and obviously also its availability. Cybersecurity is divided into two different teams. The blue team, which is defensive. I call it sort of a log analysis job. You're an analyst, really. Not that team is not proactive, but you're analyzing data, logs, and trying to anticipate, future exploits. Where the red team, which is the offensive traditionally team, they are the penetration testers. So they will be doing not only just technical, but they also, I think, perform a critical educational role. Because once they've detected and tested and found, chinks in the armor, as it were, their job is, I think, to obviously communicate that to management, which obviously should be aware, as well as, making end users aware of essentially best practice and things like that. CDS offers several courses that cover the gamut and help students, I think, in a very practical and way to acquire the knowledge and certification, which I think is very important. There are three pillars and courses that they teach, that CDS teaches, including CompTIA, I would say EC Council for hacking, forensics, and network defense for more advanced students, and ISC Square. CompTIA, the Security Plus, which is, I think, the very foundation and of your understanding of cybersecurity. Then there's CAST Plus, which is an advanced security class for operations and defense techniques. Pentest Plus, which I think is one of my favorites because it's white hat hacking, essentially, and penetration testing to see if there's any chinks in the customer's defense strategies. Linux Plus, I think, is very important because of the role of Linux and Unix in the cybersecurity environment. And finally, but not least, is A Plus and Network Plus, which are basic foundational courses just to augment your understanding of computers, operating system, and hardware, as well as network technology and vocabulary. On the EC Council side, there are more advanced classes that focus on ethical hacking. There are three, which are the signposts of the curriculum. First one is CND, which is the Certified Network Defender, the CEH, which is the Certified Ethical Hacker. One of my very favorites is the CHFI, which is forensics, which I really like. ISC squared, probably the main offering here, but there are others, is the CISSP, which stands for the Certified Information Systems Security Professional. I know it's a mouthful of acronyms, but that's kind of part and parcel of this business. And again, the whole purpose of this is to provide an additional advanced course with more knowledge and the ability to defend against breaches. So it's really part operations, but it's also technical. There are 3 certifications which I think are at the top of my list. There's the CCNA, which is the Cisco Certified Network Associate. There's the CCNP, which is the Cisco Certified Network Professional, and the Cisco Certified Network Technician. All of these courses are available through CDMS. So, and again, I have certain soft spots for certain areas, but again, because there's such a broad offering of courses, you pretty much have your choice. Well, the IT security, I would probably say, in the last 5 years has changed dramatically. There's much more specialization and much more niche. Maybe 5 years ago, you were expected to wear multiple hats and be expert in all of them, but I think that is still to some degree true. So with that said, here's a little bit more of a generic view that I consider essentially the main jobs that a lot of people that I know, students and associates, have pursued. So the first one is security engineer. And so the whole purpose of that is that you are building defense systems against security concerns and attacks. So this is your traditional blue team. You really need a fairly extensive understanding of operating systems, specifically Microsoft, because 90% of the networks are Microsoft. There is some Linux, and I think that also helps. And Linux is important and critical because a lot of these tools that are written, that are open source, are written in Linux. Second, I would say incident response. So this is the person who is fixing and scanning for vulnerabilities. And when there is a breach, it's reactive. It helps also, that person also helps to anticipate future breaches. So you need a tremendous attention to detail. You need intrusion detection and knowledge of those tools, and you need to be able to think on your feet quickly. Third is management, and this is the kind of the coordinating position, I think, between multiple teams to effect an efficient approach to how to solve, protect, monitor your network. You need patience, people skills, and to a large degree, essentially, you're sort of a financial planner as well. So you're going to be dealing with budgeting and things like that, and you need a lot of patience because essentially, in a management position, regardless of what it is, particularly in IT, you need the patience to deal with different types of folks and your team. And I think finally, testing and hacking, I kind of glom them together because the whole purpose of this is to legally hack into systems to expose their vulnerabilities. And this is the traditional red team. So you need a knowledge of cryptography, penetration testing, computer networking, and scripting knowledge. I think also understanding some basics of scripting, whether it's Python, JavaScript, et cetera, I think it's tremendously helpful. As I said, I've been teaching for CDS for about 3 years, and pretty much I've been teaching as sort of a parallel capacity as a technical, as a security engineer and a software developer. But I really like the, face-to-face communication and now face-to-Zoom communication in many instances. I think the most important thing is hopefully at the end of the day, when the students finish courses that I've taught, that they're a little bit better armed with going out into the job market, and I hopefully will give them some practical advice and tips on how to manage and navigate, and give them, ways to think outside the box to promote their, to promote the career and make good choices and efficient choices.